Hello, everybody. My name's Tyler, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to WTQ, where questions are asked and answers are made. I eventually will be having more. I will start having guests soon. A few of my friends were open to just come on to the podcast and like have a conversation with me. They've been supportive. I have a friend of mine who has a podcast, and they've been on hiatus because of technicalities amongst the core members, so we'll see what happens. But I am here, and I actually kind of ran out of questions to really answer. I could always just go through a randomizer, and I've been thinking about getting a deck of cards called like the blank space, where they have questions, and I do want to use that for for future podcasts, or if I don't have anything to talk about. But let's go ahead with these. I found these questions on Riverside. Let's just go ahead and go down the roster and then kindly go from there. This is equally recorded on the Twitch channel, and I do sometimes do edits with the Twitch format. So depending on how I cut this up, we're gonna go from there. One of the first questions is, what do people misunderstand about you most? That's kind of like a very fluid. The misunderstanding of me is kind of a fluid version of me, and I feel like when it comes to being misunderstood by a lot of people, I believe one of the number one things is that I there's like a failed expectation when people surprise me or give me news, and it's not the idea that I like fail people's expectations. Is that there are certain scenarios that I don't give the appropriate reaction to. Like there was a time when Joanna got a dress for when we were going out, and and it was really good. It was a really nice dress on her at the time, and it looked great. Fits perfectly. She was really happy with how it felt because she was on a fitness journey. And at that point in time when she had the dress, it was a lot smaller than she would normally go to buy. So me, my sister, and Joanna, we would go to Nordstrom Rack because we're finding outfits, right? So we were looking for outfits to wear to Trinity. And I was in the lobby. I was normally tired because I believe this was a weekend. This was a thing where we were out in public. We were going to be out at Trinity, and we were trying to find matching outfits. I don't have the same red shirt as I think I do for that matching up, but she got a dress like the red dress. She has the shoes and flats. And when she came out on it, she looked really good. She was fine, fantastic, and I did not give the reaction. The reaction they were expecting was me lost for words and me like, "Oh my god, you're so beautiful. You did really good in picking that outfit." I didn't do that. I didn't have any proper like signals. I came off as, "Oh, okay." I was very I was very stone faced, and I was very cold in that reaction. They weren't happy about it. Neither of those two women were happy about my reaction, because I should be very happy that she went out of her way and just dressed up in the best dress possible and the best shoes possible. No makeup on, but that's beside the point because she was at the fitting room. But Joanna understood that I don't give off normal reactions. I melt completely with kids. I melt completely with dogs and pets. And I love physical humor. I love the ignorant things people say in certain podcasts and comedy splits and jokes. And I really like that kind of like comedy. But the problem is, I don't do that very well. There are some tense moments where I can't read the room. There are some tense moments where I don't understand my self-awareness very well, so I would go off on jokes like how hit me with a cart, hit me with like a vehicle, and like I'm just a magnet for pain. But I didn't realize a friend of mine was really sensitive to the idea of an accident because someone they lost someone from an accident. So I wasn't really catching. I wasn't catching. I didn't pick up what they put down. So when Monica and Joanna were putting down that hey she got a good dress, I didn't pick up. Ah, oh, this is so cool. I should be ecstatic and everything. I they people there's a misunderstanding with like how I should react, and I will react accordingly. It's just it's really hard to impress me because it's sporadic, it's inconsistent. There's a very fluid form of like what I should react to. Very easy to react to pets and puppies and whatnot, or food, and there's a different fluidity in like Tyler. This is where you should be very excited, and I am, but the reaction isn't very good. So I think people get the misconception that like I'm not very interested in a lot of things. People misunderstand that it's not my thing, or if I dislike it, my tone of voice doesn't really reflect emotions as well either. There was a back in October for like Halloween, people had posts of costumes, and I melted and my lips quivered whenever when I saw like a small child wearing a Sully onesie from Monsters Inc. I found it very cute and adorable. Their little monster running around like or like a kid in like a short outfit. Those things they give me parental like energy of like this is so cute. Look at him, share the world, like a missionary's objective. So not very good with expression. That's mostly my fault. But I can't help it. I can't help it. I don't think there's been times where growing up, I had that, what is it? It was never enforced that what I showed or what I should react to is very positive because I think it hurts me to the stage where I think about how I had a district meet. I was in swim team and I had a district meet where, if I please tell me if I said stop me if I've said this before, but I had a district meet in my senior year, and I placed. There was a international not international. There's not a district. It was regional meet that I placed 11th. I placed like 8th, 7th, and 7th place, and I was the leading person in that heat, and for me it was very stressed out because this was my last year. This is my last chance to even go into districts or state, and so I swam the 100-yard fly, and the time to clear was a little over a minute, and when I finished the minute 05:29, that gave me a big enough, a small enough time to go into districts. I was very excited. I boosted in victory. My coach was happy for me. My team was glad for me, and I don't remember seeing my parents in the bleachers or like stairs. So when I came home after that, they just said, "Hey, how was your day?" And like, I had to meet, had to at a regionals meet. I went to state. I went to districts. And like, oh cool, but they weren't there. Normally they're there because normally they make the effort to be there because my brother was in swim team for a long time, and so I came into it because I was indoctrinated. Because of my brother, I wanted to do wrestling initially, but over time I did like swimming. But it did hurt to where I don't know if like the little seeds started in high school, but the reactions to accomplishments, the reactions to excitement are very altered because of my experiences when I had accomplishments or when I like, yo, this looks cool. What do you think? And I had the deadpan reaction from my folks as well. my mom my mom did say sorry, but I can't. And then she was there for my state meet because I was placed into a state relay, and that was the only reason why I was in state was because of a relay race. I didn't go there by myself, but I believe I have a. I don't know where my district shirt is. I wish I had a district shirt to show off, but that's not the case. And so a lot of my lack of reaction came from my parents, and a part of it is because of like what I didn't receive, but also because I came to the realization that it's in the same vein that it was a culture, it was a friction of, it was a conflict of culture. My little achievements were very physical. It was very creative, and my mom expected academic success. She expected academic prowess. Not the case, and that didn't very age well. And that didn't age well because nowadays, the college degree is getting weaker and weaker because people are out there doing other jobs that don't need that level of education, and it's being more and more of a careful venture because you may spend $40,000 in school, but if the degree doesn't outweigh the cost to go into school, then it's a little, you have to find other fundings or it's a little pointless. Um, but yeah, let me just move on because I'm rambling. I'm rambling. My favorite. What is your favorite childhood memory? Again, my childhood was directed and it was conceived based on the needs and wants of Asian parents. So they were immigrants that came over and had the American dream that if you did well in school, you could then do well in college. And doing well in college guaranteed you a good job. As we all know in 2011, 2014, 2015, that didn't age well. So, essentially, one of my favorite moments, childhood memories, was actually, I believe, a time where academics were over. We finished school, and I I remember I can't remember if this experience was after college or after my brother's college, but there was a time when the both of us, my brother and I, Tristan, did not go to school, and we finished in the summer. So for the summer we went to the Northeast. We stayed in Jersey City, New Jersey, and we then got on a tour for 10 days. We were on this tour bus, and we would travel through New York, through Maine, up to Quebec, Canada, and back down through Maryland around the Amish community and back to Jersey City, New Jersey. And I think that was one of my favorite ones because um, we got the experience to really travel. We went out of our comfort zone. We went to New York. I got the chance to be in New York as a young 20 odd person. We went to New York. We went to Times Square. Rockefeller was really cool. Everything was very scenic and very memorable, and it was fun comparing it to all. Yes. It was actually like at the end of my college career. Because I remember this distinctly because during the entire experience, my brother, I would always remember my brother on the bus or in the hotel on his 3DS. He was playing on a DS XL, the uh XY edition, that 3DS XY edition, and he'd be playing Monster Hunter the entire time. He was playing Monster Hunter the entire time, and I had the choice. I had the choice. I had a smaller 3DS, and I played the same Monster Hunter Unite with him. I chose to keep that 3DS at home because we were going to New York. We were going to the top right part of the United States. I wanted to remember my experience there, so I mainly focused on taking pictures, and I focused on experiencing the areas. From the Smithsonian Museum to Niagara Falls, almost falling over the edge of Niagara Falls because I wanted to take pictures of Niagara Falls. And somebody was holding my leg for while I held the rail, while I extended my not selfie arm to take the picture of the falls. That was a really good memory for me. The entire experience, I feel more value was provided to the experience because I was definitely detached from social media. I think the only social media I had was um, Facebook. And so if you go through if I go through my private Facebook with my personal Facebook, my in laws and my other family members, they can look at my old pictures from back in 2015, 2014. We went there, and there was pictures left and right of the Smithsonian's, of the Empire State Building, of Times Square, and I believe over here I have pictures of when we were at Rockefeller. My brother and I, my mom and my brother had pictures with me while my dad and I was at a base, and I think we were walking around like Smithsonian's when there was a side picture of me. Like, there's a lot of value for me with pictures because I dedicated more time into pictures and just observing than just on my free time when there was nothing to do. I could have went on my DS with my brother. Granted, maybe that could have been the bonding experience I could have had with my brother, but also I could have done my gaming anytime that I wanted. I could have been gaming on the plane. I can game anytime that I want at home, at a cafe, or anything else. And that was also the early years of YouTube where maybe I could have started my YouTube early. I don't know. I was given a camera when I was younger, and I didn't really put two and two together. But now, it's just kind of fun to really document what I've been through. It's really fun to just kind of like sit here and document my experiences. And I can't say that I didn't dislike my time in New York and Jersey City. And the Amish community that was right outside of a Target, funny enough. But I didn't. The funniest thing is that when I was a part of that tour bus, I got very traumatized by being in the back of the car because I was in a long Greyhound with a mixture of a mixture of Asians, and this one white driver. So we were like a mixed up stir fry on a white bun, and he could not. I remember there'd be enough times to where he almost caused an accident, and I immediately like associate myself with it because whenever we were about to do a turn, I would force myself to close my eyes. I didn't want to know what was going to happen next, so I just like left it, dealt with it, and like moved on. But ever since then, any Uber drivings we've done, and I've gotten better, but every time we went through an Uber drive or like with a group of people in a car, I always wanted to be in the front seat or the middle. I can never be in the back because that caused me anxiety because of what I went through. But definitely, I would love to go back to New York. I would love to experience all the fixings of Rockefeller, having a Boston cream pie in Boston, um, escaping my family to get a Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia, and it was fun. I would love to do that again. If I had the chance to in the next couple of years, maybe 10 years, 15, 5 years, I want to go to New York. I want to go to do a tour of New York one more time. To do it properly, of course, but there's definitely, we wanted go to Hawaii as well. Hawaii when I was 16 was fun, but that's another story for another day. I'm actually, as I'm doing this, as I'm talking about my favorite childhood memory, there's like core memories being opened up. But I chose to talk about New York today. maybe next time I'll just. I think it was very a shorter conversation talking about Hawaii, but did go to Hawaii. Waikiki Beach, 2 miles long, of a city 1 mile wide, and very condensed. What's your biggest failure, and what did you learn from that experience? Ah, okay, failure. We're going through that route. Okay, so I think I could leave it short because I believe one of my biggest failures was falling into the Amway trap. When I moved down in 2015, I got myself a job at Target. Target paid well paid decently on top of my job as a aquatics instructor. So for the first few years of my life, I did two jobs. I would work at Target, go straight back home, work at the pool that was uh, in Renton, and then I would teach and then walk home. So I'd be out from dawn till dusk because I had to take the bus, and then I was okay with it. There was a few times to where I made mistakes like losing my bag that had a personal fan because the room was hot. So I lost several bags because I forgot it, and I panicked, left the bus, and it it was just really, I was really stressed out because it was, I had no control of when I can go somewhere. I had to rely. I had no control of. I forgot something, or I had no control of like I can be there as soon as I can, and so I had relied on the bus. And at some point, I got a car, and then at some point, I was approached by a coworker of mine who said the general jargon of, "Hey, I'm offering I'm offering a opportunity, and the opportunity to own my own business and to have residual income and passive income." And that whole thing led me to Amway, and I kept googling it. I To be fair, like I one of my biggest mistakes wasn't my biggest failures was being within Amway for as long as I did, because I kept trying to do my pitch of like that whole Amway speech at the same time that I was working on YouTube. So during my early years in YouTube, I was uh, trying to do the Amway thing. But the problem is, my biggest mistake was I invested more money than I should have. A lot of my purchases per month was with a credit card that over time I couldn't keep up with, where I ended up losing all my savings because I used my savings to pay it off, and eventually it became a business that I couldn't really financially support anymore, because at the time I was ignorant and I believed in the business and I believed on the ideals, but it's almost like a religion. It's I believed in the cult following that if I worked on it really hard, I can get other people as my downlines to then show them the experience, and then went out from that. And to be fair, this is also the same 6 months that uh, I was also introduced into Beachbody. In hindsight, I probably think I should have shifted over from Amway to Beachbody when I had the chance, because to be fair, in hindsight, it was a lot cheaper to uh, maintenance Beachbody than it did Amway, and I could have gotten my health back. I could have maintained my health. I got my health back. But even then, like technically, Beachbody is another uh, MLM, multi-level marketing, that uh, can get people to a certain level of depression because of the model not working. But in my experience with it, I think the biggest failure was me staying in Amway for much longer than I should have, and I should have stopped it like within the first few months. I probably could have lost maybe $1,500 was wouldn't have been the worst kind of like loss in comparison to what I did lose, and I'm still kind of paying the price for it even till today because I wasn't a really good salesman, but I was a really good athlete. I could have just done Beachbody instead, but at the same time, I could have like worked around the space needed for Beachbody, but that would have been good. And in hindsight, I am grateful that Joanna got a level of fitness, and she did lose weight despite everything that happened with Beachbody. And I do like traveling because the energy of other fit people was kind of intoxicating. One cult following was definitely better than the other. I will have to say that. But honestly, one of my biggest lessons is especially where I shouldn't really spend more than what I earn, and no business is really good when it's ran and financed over a credit card that you're slowly burning away from. So I learned that lesson. I'm paying off a loan that took care of that problem, but now I'm more careful about money than I had before. And I hope that other people who get into that space can really just take that experience. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you like it, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube and following on my other social media platforms. And as always, my name's Tyler, I'm your friend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.